Welcome to another episode of Fully Equipped. We got Chris McCormick here. And we've got a new face, Johnny.
Hello,
Johnny boy, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
New face to the crew.
Yeah, February 1st, the Woj bomb drop that Johnny's coming over to Golf Magazine, and I know Woj doesn't do it anymore, but still.
No, he's officially official.
Officially official.
Officially official. Joining the brand agnostic ranks again.
It's which is going to be the wildest thing for me is, being in which is just an absolute blissful, awesome Callaway bubble, gotta say. But going out back on the street and having to comment on everybody again, overwhelming, to be honest. There's so much stuff out there to talk about.
I will say, like spending the first few days at by the way, Phoenix Open Week.
Yeah.
I mean, the biggest shit show in golf.
Circuses in town.
Absolutely. But tagging along with you and kind of riding your coattails around the different tour trucks and getting to be reacclimated to tour life, it's been a warm reception and a nice welcome back for you coming into everybody's fold.
Yep.
And just kind of changing the hat.
Yeah, I think it's funny, the truck culture is and I can relate this. I was a clubhouse kid for the Angels when I was a kid, 97. And the clubhouses sort of operate kind of like the trucks do, where you're with those people more than with your own families for the most part.
Sure.
So, I had really, really strong relationships with every truck. And a lot of it, though, was when I would come on the truck, I was the Callaway guy. So it's not like I'm digging in their doors and checking stuff out. It was always you're just there to talk to the people. But now, you go back on the trucks and they know that, okay, you can open the doors and check some stuff out. And
now you can go looking.
Yeah, you can go looking. You can do a little shopping. That part's been cool. But regretfully, in these jobs, and you guys know this, when you're in the golf business, especially in the equipment business, you get so much stuff.
Oh, yeah.
At this point in my life, at 48 years old, I want 14 clubs in my house. So now I would say, comparing it to my Golf WRX days where I was a kid in a candy store, now I'm just I really think about okay, they want a new set of irons. Just give me a 7-iron. Give me a 7-iron. Let me try that.
Let me do
one.
some testing first.
Yeah. Let me feel this out a little bit. But it's cool. It's a blessing, and the coming here and doing this with you guys and getting to know the team here, and we're gonna have some fun. It's gonna be fun. Having obviously your expertise are huge, and love what Wade does, and having Jack, who's passionate and kind of a little ball of fire, and there's a lot of talent.
Passionate is an understatement when we talk about Jackie boy.
I tell you what, he's a vibe, and I say this with love. He's like a Seinfeld character.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of
with love.
With love.
Yeah.
But we were out on the drive.
He's Kramer.
He's
if
you take George and Kramer and maybe
and
Kenny Banya and and you throw them together.
Dad.
Yeah, and George's dad. That's Jack. But the thing I really noticed about him, which is it's kind of a superpower especially for somebody his age. He's very assertive socially, meaning he's not afraid to say, hey, I'm Jack, how you doing? And when you get out on a tour ridge and came back, this, it's a little intimidating if you don't know the lay of the land.
Can be, sure.
It's a lot happening. There's a lot of people. There's players hitting balls. You don't know who to roll up on, and I'm good at that. I'm good at walking the range because I know everybody at this point. And he was kind of right behind me the whole time. And every single time I'd say hi to somebody, his hand would go right in there, hey, I'm Jack. How's it going? And I was like, good for you, kid.
He's
that's how you do this thing.
That's never met a stranger.
No, and that's a superpower. That's going to serve him very, very well as he goes along. So no, I'm really excited to be here. I think this is cool.
Well, we're excited to have you, man. I think it's going to be really cool to have you on board, have another voice, have someone with your experience that's coming in, and not only the experience that you've got, but just the people that you know as well. And you kind of get to see everything through different avenues as well, which I think is kind of cool.
Right.
The partnerships you've done with Steph and all of that, the people that you fit in that regard, seeing their different avenues and what you can do in that regard, I think it's going to be. This platform might be a little bit bigger for you to really push that out a little bit more, which will be really cool for you as well.
Which has been nice. The response has been cool from the people that, Callaway was amazing at letting me run. I lived on a really awesome island, and if I had an idea, there wasn't I had to check in with 9 people to do it. It was okay, yeah, go do it. And
that's awesome.
And the exposure that they gave me from day one to... The idea was always to put me in front of Steph. It was always to put me in front of these people. You're going to be the guy on the camera with them. You're going to fit them. You're going to take care of them. And over the 4 years, you build up a pretty gnarly list of people you can take care of. And what you sort of learn, especially being, I don't say brand agnostic, but being in a bubble, is like the golf community, especially like, if you're going to talk about the celebrity or the athletes, like everybody wants to be involved in the golf thing. So like when I took this job and I posted on Instagram, the text messages I was getting from everybody was like, dude, can't wait to find out what the ping driver's like. Can't wait to, and these are all people I take care of with Callaway stuff. But at the same time, it's like, golf is such a crazy uniter of people. Like, it's wild.
It's kind of crazy. Like when I think about golf and I go back, I'm 42 years old. So I go back in the day when I was a little grommet and I was a skateboarder and all of that kind of stuff. And I played tennis. So I played one of the country club sports. But back then, golf, like it came out that Kelly Slater was a huge golfer. I remember when I was like 16, 17 and it was like, oh,
he's a stiff. He can play
he
too.
can really play.
Yeah.
But everyone starts talking shit on it. And now you start looking and you go, actually, to your point where it's just like that, it brings people together. Golf really is a sport that's becoming more of a community than anything else, which is really interesting. Like you look at like the action sports area where, what I'm talking about, Slater was the pioneer of it, like coming up, but you've got like the Costans, the Sean Malters, all these big time skaters that now play golf. And if you ask them, do you want to skate or go play golf? They'll probably say, I want to go play golf. And it's just kind of wild where golf has come to in full circle, coming from this country club sport where you turn your nose up to it if you're going to play it, to now it's just this sport where it's like, no, let's go have a good time. It's community. Let's go have fun. Let's have a laugh. Bring everyone together. I don't know. To me, it's kind of cool where golf is going.
Yeah, if you take like Steph is a perfect example because Steph and his brother Seth and Dell, especially Seth and Steph, I always get like, it's hard to say it in a row, but they're both A+ crackhead gearheads. Like they
love that.
They love gear.
One of us.
100%. So, I got, I don't want to say close. He's not like my best friend or anything, but I started interacting with him through the Callaway thing. I had a couple 2.5 years ago, and we started talking about his clubs. And he's funny because he's at certain points during the season he could be the most famous athlete in the world. It depends on what's going on with him, right? So it was always surreal for me. But when we started talking about equipment, all of a sudden I'm just talking to somebody about golf stuff, and it's funny to have him and his brother ask me questions like, "What about this and what about that?" I'm looking at this shaft, and I don't want to say the balance of power shifts, but the balance of expertise shifts pretty quick.
Oh, yeah.
And they want to know in just everything. So every single time I'll post something on Instagram, for example, of like a prototype, something we're working on at Callaway or some new club, like instant text messages from the Curry guys. What's that? Do I need that? Do I need the mini driver? What's this triple diamond ball? They want to know, like, is this something that I'm going to try? And, Steph's fun because I have a kind of a governor on him, meaning like if he thinks something's going to go further and he pounds it, like he's like 182, 183.
Oh, yeah.
But I remember there was this time, because he's just like me, like he wants to hit it far. All of us, like he wants to hit it far. He wants to see the ball go through this window. And this is the spring before the Tahoe thing when he won. And he texted me. He's like, hey, I need like a bunch of those LS balls. And I'm like, why? He's like, dude, I hit him because he's got a dork hole in his house in his backyard with a launch monitor, and it's all set up. And he goes back there when he's bored and hits balls into the wall. And he got his hands on some of the LS balls and started hitting them. And you notice the 7-iron was going like 200. So all of a sudden his eyes get wide. He's like, I need this, right? So
everybody needs a 200-yard 7-iron.
So he goes, I need some LS balls. I'm like, no, I'm not sending you. Like you need to spin, dude. You're playing the X ball. He's like, yeah, but this dude, like this thing's going like the 7-iron's flying. And I'm like, I'm not sending those balls. Like, I'm sorry. If you can go buy them, but I'm not. They're not coming for me. So he's like, all right. And I had to explain a little bit the why. Like, you need to spin. You're going to play Tahoe. You're like, we're trying to like. I want you to play good. I don't want you to hit it far in your man cave.
Go get a Volvic if you want to hit it far.
Yeah. Correct.
Yeah, there you go.
So he goes off and wins Tahoe with the X ball, and he navigated himself around that golf because it's a tight little golf course. Like, I mean, you can't spray it around there
For sure.
But I'm sitting there thinking after he won, and I'm like, he's so much like the rest of us because if if he didn't have somebody to talk to, like a fitter or somebody to go to, he would have been playing. He would have won. I have no idea, but it's a different vibe. It's just that, you know, and to be able to look at that and just go, oh, that was cool. Like, you know, I had to fight him off for a second to get him, keep him in the right ball. But like to speak to true spec and like in fitting and all that stuff, like that's why what we do, like the information that we provide, is pretty important. Not just to Steph Curry, but to like my dad. Like, you know, it's important shit. So.
We're all psychopaths when it comes down to it.
Absolutely.
Like,
I mean, you're talking about the equalizer effect of when you're an expert in a space, it doesn't matter what they do in their professional life or anything like that. If you start talking about gear and they're a gearhead, it's ears perk up. And like you were saying with the tennis players and the skaters and stuff, like I've seen it with the relationship that I have with Alice Cooper. And it's like, here you have these just monsters of rock up on stage performing in front of tens of thousands of people. And now you start talking about a new piece of gear. Yeah. And I mean, I've been backstage with these guys. They're full makeup. And
like, tell me more about this hidden Korean technology.
Yeah, they're like, hey, we got an 8 a.m. We got an 8 a.m. tea time, and I got this little hitch. Can you take a look at this real quick? And I'm like, bro, you're wearing like platform shoes and leather pants. Yeah. Like, I don't think this is the time.
This is not the vibe. This is the wrong vibe. Yeah,
but it's awesome, and I absolutely love it.
Yes, they we were in Charlotte last year for the Wells Fargo. Is it Charlotte? Is that where we were? Anyway, Seth came on the truck. I was in Dallas. I was in Dallas for the Texas for the Byron Nixon, whatever the hell it was, Colonial something.
Valero, Colonial, yeah, one of those.
And Seth texted me. He's like, "Hey, I'm like, the trucks are here. Come, like, come. I'll build you some stuff." And he walked on the truck, and I don't think he'd ever been on a tour truck before, especially the Callaway one, which if you've never seen it, it's like this big.
It's a monster.
It's a monstrosity, and his eyes just like I have a picture of it. He walked on. It was like my son walking in to Toys R Us.
Yeah,
and his eyes lit up, and you know we started opening drawers, and you could just tell he was just like, oh god, like. And I'm like, this is like an NBA basketball player, like he shouldn't care about any of this, but I will die on this hill. When Steph's done with a game and he's driving home, I guarantee 40% of what he's thinking about is golf, especially if he's playing the next day. Like
only 40?
Yeah, because it depends on if you win or like whatever. Okay. But like if something's going on in his life or if he's got downtime, it's golf. It's not. He's not worried about who's getting traded where. Like he's thinking about golf.
Yeah. But I feel like that's what we all do, right? Because that's what golf does to you. It consumes you. That's the beauty of golf. Yeah. And I know we get a lot of comments of people saying bloody word salad and all of that kind of stuff, but this is what a podcast is. But, you know, when it comes down to it, that's what golf consumes you. It's that sport that consumes you. You think about one shot. You could think about this one shot you hit for the rest of your life. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You could think about a course you've played the rest of your life. I know that when I can't sleep, I close my eyes and I play the old course.
Okay, so this is funny that you say that. So, like I've been in recovery for years, right? And I've always had trouble sleeping. That was part of one of the reasons I hit it so hard is because it would help me. You know, passing out's way easier than drifting off to sleep, right? So I was talking to, like when you first get sober, like you go to meetings and stuff like that, and then I ended up talking to a therapist because I thought like I need to supplement everything. I'm going to hit it hard, right? I did it alcoholically, basically. Like in recovery, I hit that hard too, right? So we sit down and she's like, "What's one thing that you wish you could do right now?" I'm like, "I wish I knew how to sleep." He's like, okay. She's like, so let's do this. Let's, what do you think about when you're asleep besides stress? Like, what's something that makes you happy? I'm like, golf. And she's like, okay, well, this is what I want you to do. It's like, do you have a golf course that pops in your mind? I'm like, yeah, Rainier Country Club where I grew up. She was like, okay, I want you to go play that golf course. You're on hole number 1 and think of the best tee shot you've ever hit on the first hole. Then think of the best second shot you've ever hit into that hole. And the best putt you've ever hit. And then go to the second hole and do the same thing. And I still do it to this day. It's how I fall asleep. I can get to the second green and I'm gone.
It's the best.
Because I just immediately my shoulders drop.
Yep.
Somewhere else, and I know exactly what driver I hit that day, what wedge I hit into that green, the shot shape. I can see the window it flew out of. Like, and that's golf doing other things for your life that you would never imagine. But to me, it's like a beautiful thing.
Yeah, so we did. So what I used to work at a company called Full Script, and this might be going a little bit too deep, guys. So, Mark, if you need to edit this out, you can. It's up to you, homie. But
Strap in. Here we go.
It was during COVID, and we kind of did the team over there. They did like this big thing on mental health and emotional health and all of that kind of stuff. And one of the things was nature bathing, right? So going into nature, being one with nature, feeling grass, all of that kind of stuff. And what came out of it was, for men, one of the best parts of the thing to do for nature bathing was golfing, because it puts you into nature. You're touching grass, you're smelling the air. And the other thing as well is golf is probably one of the only things is that when I'm on the golf course, I'm not filming and all of that kind of stuff, and I'm just with mates, I'm not thinking about anything else but what's in front of me.
It's the only time in my life that I can turn it off.
100%. And so that to me is like, and we talk about being fully equipped, right? Being fully equipped is all about not just equipment, but it's also emotional and all of that kind of stuff to go play golf. And complete transparency, if you're super stressed out, go play around a golf. And this is something I've had to talk to my wife about, where I'm like, I just need to go hit balls, I need to go play, I just need to go do something.
It's therapeutic.
It's super therapeutic, super good for the mind, just clears it out. It's really good. I love it. It's why I love the sport so much. It's why I'm such a bloody psychopath with it. And that's why I just all I think about is, when can I go play golf next? Outside of all the other shit that's with life, like my boys and my wife and all of that kind of stuff. But
you can find so much relief from, well, actually, to kind of piggyback on that, socially also, I can play 18 holes with somebody and know exactly who they are in the world by how they handle themselves on the golf course. I can figure out if they can handle stress, if they can handle success, how they deal with money, how they deal with embarrassment, all that stuff. So you play 18 holes with somebody, I can tell you if you're going to watch my kids, if I'm going to get dinner with you, I can go on a family vacation with this guy, just over 18 holes, because it exposes everything about a person.
I agree.
And I find that, and I actually explained that to my girl when we started dating, because she's like, God, you golf a lot. And I'm like, it's mental health for me, which is always a hard sell. Like, I'm going to go with the boys and go play golf for 5 hours. But it's a legitimate thing. Like, it's the only time I can turn my phone off.
Yep.
That's why people would ask me when I was at Callaway, like, you must play 100 rounds a year. I'm like, dude, I play 15 to 20 times a year. And I don't film it. Very rarely do I get my phone out and do it. I don't want to touch my phone. I just want to go play and disconnect, and I'll deal with my life when I get in the car.
Yeah, 100%. The way it should be.
Yeah.
But back onto things, we've got to talk about a little bit about gear.
A little bit about gear.
Gear
podcast.
Right.
Got to talk about gear.
Sure.
A little bit.
Okay.
So we've got the Cobra Mini Driver.
Yeah.
And the Elite Mini Driver.
Back out on tour.
Yep. So you guys saw them yesterday?
Saw a couple things popping up.
Yep.
So what do you tell us about that?
Between Monday and Tuesday, the new Callaway Elite Mini Driver and Cobra King Mini Driver made an appearance. And I got to see a couple guys hitting the Cobra. I didn't see anybody hitting Callaway personally, did you?
Yeah, so Max Grazerman, who's a gearhead. I met Max, I'll just say this quickly. I met Max, he used to DM me during my Friday AMAs. He would be one of the people asking the questions. So we started talking when he was still like on Corn Ferry, like at a high level gearhead. But he was out on the range yesterday. He was the first tester because he's got the AI Smoke one in there. And he was getting 175, 176 out of it and spinning at 3,400. I don't know if it'll go in the bag because he's really weird when it comes to actually putting something in the bag and keeping it there. But he tried it. And then Davis Riley, who's a Titleist staffer, plays this Smoke Mini Driver as well. They tested it with him too. I don't know how we walked to 16, and so I don't know what happened. But he was another player. And then as far as the Cobra one, Ricky's testing it, and Gary Woodland has it. It's just like this new 3-wood now. So
I was talking to Ben about Gary's build.
Yeah, they had to put a buttload of lead tape in the front to kill the spin, but Gary said that he's just absolutely hammering this thing. So if you can give the Mini Driver thing is not on tour, it's for the high speed guys. It's for the 185 to 190 guys that need something they can spin at 175 essentially. So like Xander's got one. He hasn't played yet because he's been hurt, but he has one that he's been screwing around with for that very reason, where 3-woods aren't, for those guys at that speed, aren't practical anymore. Yeah. They don't hit them into par 5s ever. Like if they have 270, they're hitting 5-wood or 2-iron.
Which is just crazy to think.
It's crazy. And so to have a second tee option, and Waste Management's a perfect example. Like 11 is a perfect hole. Like, you know, it's big, hard dog leg to the left, to the right. I mean, driver cooks all the way through into the water. But if you have something you could hit high and floaty that goes out there 280 and lands in front of those trees.
17's another
17's
weird one
another
for
one.
those guys that have speed.
18's not a good hole for that, but there's a few holes. I think 2 and 4 were the other 2 holes that a mini driver comes into play for the longer guys.
Could see that.
And it's just a weird trend. And I got to be super honest. When we started making them at Callaway, Phil was the first one that they made a prototype for, and it was this black thing. I should post a picture of it. It didn't spin, and I was sitting there like, the mini driver thing's dumb because TaylorMade was doing it. I'm like, why are we doing this? Like, this is a stupid idea. Like, it has no practicality. And then they started making them where they were spinning a little bit, and we started hitting them. And I had all this like piss and vinegar on these things, and then like in the middle of last year, I was like, oh, I'll try it, and I hit it, and I was like, okay, this thing's sick.
He's been drinking the mini driver Kool-Aid for a hot minute now.
I've been playing one for about a year now, and I don't have woods in my bag anymore. I go drive a mini and then to a driving iron.
Yeah, I'm full tilt on the mini driver.
Yeah,
right now.
I love it. I love it.
We need to get all of them together.
Well, I just got the PXG one. The PXG one's pretty
looks
bloody
nice.
good.
It looks nice.
Like I was getting like, I think the total distance I was getting when we were at PXG was like 295.
Yeah. You were carrying it consistently. Even
270, 280 or something.
We started to mess with weight a little bit, started to change some settings around, and found a shaft that was working for him. They didn't have the exact shaft that he needed, but it was something close.
Yeah.
And when we started to move weight around and adjust some settings, I mean, he was 4 shots in a row. It was like 148 smash and like 276 carry.
Yep.
And it was like back to back to back to back.
Yeah. So one of the things when we were fitting players into the mini driver, and this is super rabbit holey, but where you're hitting it on the face is a big deal. So like, the consumer might think like, oh, the center's here and the toes here. It depends on your angle of attack. Like if you're hitting down on it, what your path is. There's all these little things that matter. And specifically the mini drivers in regards to fitting those things, face contact is kind of everything. Yep. So like I've seen guys that will hit a mini driver in a normal setting with normal weighting, and they'll hit a little thin, or they'll hit out of the guts, and it won't go very far. And then all of a sudden you put it in +1 and move the weight forward or whatever, and all of a sudden they're getting it on the medius part of the face at the right angle, and all of a sudden it's going out there forever. And you can do that a little bit with drivers, like as far as the difference between the performance. But with these mini drivers, it's like night and day. Like if you can get the right setting, you can add 15 yards of carry to those things.
It's wild
in one tweak.
We saw it.
Yeah, but yeah, I would love to get all of them and put, like, when we're talking about that, what should be in my bag situation, like I would love to get all of them, put them next to each other, and kind of go from there. But right now, it's like, obviously Callaway's got a new one coming out. Cobra's got their first version coming out. I'm sure TaylorMade's got something coming out. PXG's got theirs coming out.
Titleist has
the
280 coming out. The only thing with the 280 that I get a little bit weird about is that it's on a fairway hosel, not a driver hosel like the others. That kind of not weeds me out, but it just, I don't know. There's something about that where it kind of makes it feel like it's going to act more like a wood than a mini driver.
Yeah, I feel like with that idea, you need to go all the way with that idea. Like if you're going to have because you said like it's 280 cc's versus 320 cc's or 340 cc's, whatever these things are. I think the Callaway's 340. I should know this. It's 340. I'm pretty sure it's 340. But like.
Say the Cobra is over 300.
Yeah.
They weren't 100% sure on the sizing, but that's the other conversation. Is it over 300? Is it under 300? Like where does it sit?
But like the Titleist thing looks cool. Like I've seen it 100 times now. Like it looks beautiful. It's a beautiful golf club, but I'm like, it's not taking the idea all the way. It still feels like a 2-wood. And
that's exactly what it is.
Yeah. It's just like, if you're going to play the game, like I don't think they could have made just a mini driver too and just had their version of it and been fine. So like I haven't hit it yet, but obviously I'm a big advocate of like if you're going to do this idea, do it.
Yeah,
all the way.
I've hit it. It feels great. It definitely feels like a Titleist club. But there is something I want to put them all next to each other in the one go. I think that's the one thing about Carlsbad when we did that Carlsbad trip is at the end of it, I wish we could just do one day of going, all right, now all the shit's here.
Yeah, just go to a range with all of them.
Now let's hit. Like the other day when I posted that picture of, testing, it was just good to be outside with, I think I had the TaylorMade driver, I had the Ping driver, I had the Titleist driver. Like I had all the drivers that I'm looking at with about 6 or 7 different shafts.
Sure.
And it was just, I had 2 large buckets of balls and I was like, I'm just finding the right sequencing here.
It's hard to differentiate when you're in a bubble. So I mean, when you're at the ECPC and you're testing all of the Elite product, and you dial in the Elite, and the Elite is performing for you, and you're hitting ropes with it, and you're like, man, this thing is awesome.
This is the end all be all.
Yeah, and it's in the vacuum. And then you go to TPI, and it's same thing when you get dialed in with GT and just hitting ropes. And then we went over to the Kingdom, and you're just smashing QI 35, and you're sitting there and you're going,
they're all great.
yeah, and you're going, these could all work.
Yeah.
It depends on so I remember at WRX, is my last year at WRX, and Adrian Riedfeld at TaylorMade he used to send me a bunch of stuff, right? And I forget where I was, but I got fit for a full bag. It was all TaylorMade stuff, like to an inch of my life. Like it was as dialed as it could be. And we had to go do some stuff at PXG. So it was Dave Cunningham was the name of the fitter. You might know him. He's from around here. But he was like their lead fitter at PXG. And so we go to Scottsdale National, and he's looking at my bag. And this is like a week after I had been dialed in by TaylorMade. I'm like, then nothing's touching this bag. And you give a good fitter on that in that vacuum, any of these guys like yourself or anybody can beat anything if they have you. They got hands on you, they'll beat every club in that bag.
Yeah, we were talking about that. Give us enough time and enough tools at our disposal, and we can figure something out.
You give these guys a wrench and a TrackMan, and it's like every club's coming out of that bag. You could be emotionally connected to that thing, and they will prove to you that it sucks in 10 minutes. So it's when people talk about brand allegiance, this is where marketing comes into play. Sometimes it is marketing that's going to trap, because ultimately, from range to range and fitting to fitting, good fitter will beat another fitter 12 times out of 10. Like it just happens.
Typically, yeah.
It just happens. Like it's such a funny thing.
That's what a lot of people don't grasp is if you have something that you hit well, it's we could find you a new toy if you want a new toy,
right? And
it's maybe it's a better start line, maybe it's a better spin threshold, maybe it's a little bit faster ball speed, or maybe it just helps guard against a miss.
Right.
So it's when you come into a fitting environment and you have objectives as to what do you want to see out of this, what do you want to get out of this. That just helps us do our job better.
Well, that and I still like go back to when I was younger and I've always kind of fit myself. I go off center face contact to me is most important. So like I might be in a fitting and the numbers might be substantially better with a club, but if I have a club that I hit out of the middle all the time, I kind of don't care anymore. I want to be able to be my best self to my worst self and know if I step up at 7:30 in the morning on a first tee, and I'm going to go play, I know I'm going to hit this out. Even if I'm hitting it like shit, I'm still going to hit it out of the middle.
Yep.
That has so much value for me.
Yeah, it's fair.
Especially at 48 years old. I'm like, I just want to hit it solid. I don't care like where it goes anymore.
I've almost forgotten what solid feels like. Just
I know.
Revolving door of
Don't go down that
don't
path,
have kids.
Christopher.
gear. Oh.
If you hate hitting it solid, have kids.
Oh, dude.
it's
Fucking just
it's
wild.
just the killer.
That's fair.
It's the killer.
I mean, also some news coming out of tour. We had the Farmers. Mm-hmm. We had that little bit of a debacle with pace of play and a 5.5 hour round, and you hear some of the commentators and you hear some of the voices in the golf industry sounding off like this has got to get better. This has got to improve. It's Dottie Pepper was saying it's a respect thing, and it's a respect thing from a variety of different lenses, right? From players to commentators to, I mean, just the support staff, even the fans.
Right.
And so now you have Charlie Hoffman and you have Lucas Glover. And I mean, we were talking before we got on the air about the Charlie Hoffman manifesto, as you put it. I mean, what's your thoughts?
Two respected guys. I mean, Charlie's very well respected. He's very opinionated, but he's very well respected out there. Lucas too.
Yep.
Like he's a quiet guy, so if he speaks up, people listen. He doesn't say much.
A journeyman. They've been there.
Very sweet guy. The slow play thing on tour is it's a thing, and it has been for a long time. And it really hit its peak on the West Coast, especially at like tournaments like Amex. Pebble, there's really no reason for slow play. It's a limited field. Everybody knows the golf course. Now, granted, Saturday was a weird day. It was windy. Like I get it if the conditions are crazy.
Sure.
Totally get it. But like on a stock day, and they're doing 5.5, 6 hour rounds, and some players might say, well, the greens are bumpy or it's soft or blah, 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 blah. Like, this is where like traditions need to get punted. Like, they're talking about letting them use lasers now. The caddies use lasers. And then immediately everybody's like, yeah, but the caddies are still going to use their yardage books anyway. So it's like, then don't let them use their yardage book. Somebody's going to have to concede something because like the live thing doesn't help because live's a shotgun and they play rounds in 4.5 hours. They get around really. Granted, it's 50 players or 54, whatever it is, but you have 3 targets now for consuming golf content. You have YouTube, you have Live, and you have PGA Tour. And if the biggest product has the most holes in the ship, that's a problem. So I think what Charlie and these guys are saying is like, what I'm reading from it is like, we're going to lose. We're losing people. We're going to lose more if we don't figure this out. And like, it's the first time I'm like, well, maybe the PGA Tour should do the shotgun thing. Or maybe like there should be a shot clock. It's something to get them going, at least prototype it at a tournament. Okay, everybody's on a shot clock for this one tournament. We're going to collect the data and see if it actually helps.
Yeah, I mean, yes, but I also think a lot of this has to do with the production as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of it has to come down to the production. Like I think last year I feel like all I saw was tee green, tee green, tee green, tee green. Like you didn't really see much else. And then when someone did something good, they'd flash back to it and all of that kind of stuff. But like I do wonder as well, back to the consumption of it, how many people are using ESPN Plus to then watch a featured group?
Right.
Because they just want to follow a player. Like I know for me, like I'm not a big golf tournament guy. If I'm going to take a day off work, I'd prefer to go play golf.
Yeah.
But if I go to the Waste Management, I'm not going to sit in a box somewhere. I'll go follow a golfer around that I want to watch play, see what they're doing, all of that kind of stuff. But that's the thing, like consumption right now of golf, when you think about the production side of it is, okay, Rory McIlroy is going to go hit the ball 340 yards. Cool. He's on the green miraculously. Like, how did he get there?
Right.
Like, what happened? Like, you know what I mean? Or should there be more conversation? Like you've played Pebble before, right?
I've never played Pebble. I've been out there a bunch, but I've never played.
Have you played Pebble? Mm-hmm. So you think about I think it's the par 5 11th, right? Where Rory took that incredible line over the trees.
14,
sorry.
yeah.
When he cut that corner.
But like I've been there. It's such a hard shot. And I think last year at Spyglass, he took it over the trees on the first, over the left. I'm like, I've been there. That is so hard.
That's crazy. I've played there before. I know that shot.
Right, but it's like
that's not a shot.
Why are they not walking with him down the fairway to his ball in 30 seconds, just getting a quick? What made you decide that? Because that's the production side of it, and I think that's where areas like a YouTube are doing so well is because you see everything, and then you see them in the cart, and then you see them going to their ball, and you see them, going through everything in their head, like where is it, what's going to go, what should I do next? So I think the production value of golf also needs to pick up on the PGA side. I couldn't
agree more. Like I was watching Rombo and Brooks play with Shields, like this little 6-hole match, and I don't know Brooks Koepka. I've shook his hand one time, but like in 35 minutes, the amount of content they got out of Brooks Koepka, like what he was saying to Rick Shields about his career and what this and that, I was like,
that's it.
What's to stop people from just watching this if this is what it's going to be like with these big players, like Phil's getting the channel, like they're all doing this stuff and they're all mic'd up in carts. Like watching Phil, for example, and Dustin play.
Did you see that little skit? Like
I
snippet,
thought
by
that was
the way?
hilarious.
It was
like that's why
Phil's where Phil's just sitting there going, "I'm going to do this. I'm going to lay up," and he's just talking for what feels like 2 minutes. And DJ goes, "This is what I wanted to hit first."
Yeah. So it's like, but that's what we all want to see,
right?
And even working on a PGA Tour range, I've walked hundreds of practice rounds. That's what it's like. So if you mic them up, it's fascinating what you hear the caddies talk, all the shit talking that they do. The banter between them all, like when somebody's really struggling, what they say to themselves, like it's all fascinating, and that to me is going to be the big leap that they're going to have to take. Is just tell the players you're all getting mic'd up. If you're part of a featured group, featured means mic'd up.
Yeah,
your caddy's mic'd up, you're mic'd up, and honestly, we don't even care what you say. Just go play golf and act like the mic's not there. Mm-hmm. Don't censor yourself. Just go play.
It's just like the mic'd up coaches, right?
Mm-hmm. Capture everything, and then we'll filter it out.
We'll filter it out.
Like, that would have been awesome to tag along in a practice round and hear the conversation about talking about those lines. Mm-hmm. Because it's that the tee shot on number 1 at Spyglass, the par 5 14 on Pebble.
Right.
You're sitting there and you're looking at that shot as a player, and I've played Pebble a half a dozen times, and there is no chance I would ever think to take that line, or I have the physical ability to ever take that line.
Right.
And to just, hey, do you think we could cut that corner? And
Can I get it up so fast that I can hit it to 160 feet in the air within 50, 60 yards? Because that's how close those trees are.
Yes, and he did it 3 days in a row.
How many times in a practice round did they sit on that tee and test different lines to see where the end result put them?
Well, the interesting thing is, so Rasmus Højgaard played with Rory, I think, on Friday or Saturday. And Raz is like 185 to 190 ball speed too. And he took a different line. He's like, I just hit a hard slice because the wind was blowing that way. He's like, and I was 5 yards behind Rory, where he hit it way over the trees. I hit his big slider around the trees. And again, interesting. It would have been awesome to see that shot too. Like, he took this line, they're 5 yards apart.
5 yards apart.
And I'm sitting there just going, God, that would have been a cool story to tell.
Mm-hmm.
Like you know, the ability to hit a slice that far is almost as impressive of being able to hit that, 160 feet in the air.
Yep.
Two totally different shots, two totally different stories, but to be able to have the consumer sit there and go, wow, like this guy hit this big slice around the corner, this guy hit it over the trees, and they're like right next to each other.
Yep.
Like, that's wild.
There's no one way to do it.
No, and I said, what did you hit into 14 when Rory hit 7-iron? He's like, I chipped a 6-iron up there. I'm like, nobody in the golf community knew that you chipped a 6-iron in there.
Yeah, nobody talked about it.
Nobody talked about it. And he's like, I was literally 5 yards behind him. Like, he hit his shot and everybody's like, ooh. I was like, I just chipped a 6-iron up there.
Hit a little
like
bunty 6-iron up there. And yeah, no big deal.
I was like, wow.
And then on the Glover side of things with the aim point, like, and it's actually pretty funny that you guys bring that up, because I have a text thread with a lot of my best mates, and they're like, yeah, we're sick of you walking on our line too, Wade, because I use aim point.
Right.
I just told them to fuck off. But like, unless they're going and rolling every green after people finish putting.
Yeah, somebody's walking on your line.
Complete transparency, how much is that really affecting it?
I don't think it's on the green that's slowing everything down. I think on tour, a lot of it is the preparation to hit a shot. So like, the green's the green. The green's always going to be slow.
Right.
Like, there's never going to be a world where players just roll up on the green, look. Like Baddeley, we were talking about Baddeley yesterday. Baddeley takes a half a second to hit a putt.
Did he make the Waste Management, by the way?
I don't think so.
I don't think
Did he qualify?
I don't think so.
Okay.
But like, he's a unicorn.
He's such a good putter.
He's such a good putter, but he putts fast, right? So, but the green, if the players want to protect a part of the pace, you can protect the pace that you have on the green, because there's a lot that goes into it, like aim point. It's transformed careers in some. So that's an asset that you need. But like, when it comes to sitting on a tee, and you'll get players that'll pull off of a shot because the wind switches or this and that. Like, there's got to be a way. And I'm not a PGA Tour, but there's got to be a way to speed up the process of getting into a shot. So it's like, if a guy has a 150-yard shot out of the fairway and he hits it, the guy that's next to hit should already be damn near at the ball.
Yeah.
Like, it should feel like whack, and whack, and whack, then they're gone. Mm-hmm. Like, you can save so much time, but what happens is, guy hits a shot, they all look, watch where it lands, and then they start getting into there.
And they assess and turn around and go, what happened there? Am I going to do the same thing? Blah, blah, blah. Should I try something different?
Yeah, the process itself from think box, play box is a lot of times dragging, to say the least.
I will say this. This is the first weekend of golf this year that I was entertained.
Oh, it was
watching Pebble.
It was first PGA Tour golf. It was what a weekend of golf.
So much fun.
Awesome to watch.
So much fun to watch. And I don't know whether that's because it's Pebble Beach or whether there was bigger names or what was going on, but I watched it and I watched it. Where previous weeks he and I have spoken about, like, how much did you get through? Like 15, 20 minutes, and then just did something else.
I never watch golf, because by the time I get back from an event when I was at Callaway, like by Wednesday night you're golfed out. Like,
sure.
you've seen it next to him. Like, I'm standing here and Rahm's hitting a shot into a green. Like, you've seen all the golf you're going to see, right? And for the first time in a long time, I actually sat and like turned on the TV. I'm like, okay, this is cool. Besides I watch the majors because the majors are fun, but like, it was so much fun to watch. And this weekend was the combination, in my opinion, of Rory and Pebble.
Totally.
Like,
Agreed.
He still is the. Bryson's the needle mover in golf, like, hands down.
Yep.
Like, nobody moves the needle like on both platforms, on TV and on social. But
his flip, his flip from going to this guy that everyone can't stand to being, as you say, the needle mover in the last 2 to 3 years.
He's done a great
incredible.
job. Yeah. But he was my first ever interview fairly certain my first ever was a WRX. So I got to know him, and he's a gearhead. So am I. So for me, my relationship with Bryson's always been the same. We talk about gear. When he was on tour, if I'm walking past a putting green, he's got a new putter. He's like, J-Dub, come check this out. And like, he just nerds out on gear. So I've never known the other side of him, but I've heard stories. But now, like, and this is the social media thing, and this is the YouTube space, like, you get to know people in a different light. And Bryson's resting state is golf dork.
Yep.
And PGA Tour players aren't all golf dorks. So they look at him like, who is this nerd? Like, stop talking. Like, that's kind of the vibe that he was getting, where now he's doing so much for the game. Like, people are starting to love the golf dork because the consumer loves the golf dork, because even as far as he hits it and as crazy as he can be, it's still relatable. It's like, you know, he's that guy that walks into a house. If there's a golf club on the wall, he's grabbing that thing and going to the first mirror, and like, that's Bryson. But what I was going to say on Rory really quick, and I'll shut up. If he goes, the best thing that could happen to global golf for all the tours, if Rory goes and wins the Masters this year,
100%.
That's going to be the great reset for golf.
100%.
Like, the guy has to win the Masters this year. If he misses the cut, it's actually going to hurt golf. I think it's actually going to hurt golf.
I don't disagree.
Yeah.
He's the barometer with
no
the
pressure,
PGA.
Rory, but like, that's a big
no pressure. No pressure.
But
Got to win the Masters.
He's the barometer with the PGA.
100%.
Like, it's no different to basketball. You're watching basketball right now, and a lot of the bigger names are sitting middle of the pack, and it's not as fun to watch.
No, we were talking about this this week. Like, Spieth playing great golf is great for the game.
Yep.
Fowler playing great golf, great for the game. JT playing good. There's 5 or 6 guys out there when they're at the peak of their powers, viewership goes up, fans engage. The problem is there's not a lot of those guys anymore.
Because they've all gone over to live.
A lot of them have gone to live, and they're all good now.
Yeah.
So it's hard to differentiate who the horses are anymore, because to be honest, like, you know, take somebody like Jake Knapp, for example. He came out of nowhere, but he's not going to make, if he plays 25 times at this point in his career, he's not a 24 cuts made, 15 top 10 player yet, but he's fun to watch, but he doesn't get into the conversation enough. Where we're used to having Spieth and JT and those guys be in the conversation every week, and when they are, everybody gets stoked because it's like the Avengers. It's like, our guys are back. This is amazing. And a lot of the uptick for the tour is one of those guys that we're used to cheering on, like Rory, needs to
be there.
Yeah, needs to rally, needs to be in the mix.
And that's a big deal. Like, that's why Phil Mickelson was always great to have on the tour, because when he was winning, everybody watched.
Yeah,
Liked him or hated him, like they wanted to see him win or lose or whatever. But
what tournament was it where he had 2 drivers in his bag? Didn't he have 2 drivers in his bag?
Well, he won the PGA with 2 drivers.
That's
in his
what
bag.
it was. Yeah,
at Baltusrol.
Wasn't it one for a draw, one for a fade?
One for, yeah. He had.
That's what he said, but
one. So that was back when Callaway was the FT5. I think was the driver. They had, because they used to have CG bias on each one, so they'd have a draw bias, a neutral one, and a fade one. So he had one that was 46 inches that was draw biased that he would hit up on, and then he had one that was like 44 and a half or 44 and 3/4 that was fade biased, and he would tee it down and he'd hit down on it and the ball come out like that.
He made his own mini driver.
Yeah, essentially.
He's I got to know him obviously pretty well when I was at Callaway. Another guy, he's got a little Bryson in him too. He's a complete club junkie, and this is actually kind of a cool story. So he has always had a Ping I2 lob wedge around his. So, and I can tell this story not because I'm not at Callaway anymore, but we used to always talk about that PM grind, because it was basically a Callaway version of a Ping I2.
Sure.
If you look at it, the par area is the same, where the leading edge sits. It's a Ping I2. It just looks a little different. So he went and brought a Ping I2 into Callaway, and he said, "Can you recreate this?" So they mimed this guy, and I got pictures of it. He's got a forged Ping I2 prototype wedge, and I guarantee it's 99.9% of the way there. I don't even know if he uses it anymore, but it's the coolest. I saw him at the PGA 2 years ago, and he had it in for the first time, and I was walking down the range, and he goes, "Dude, you got to see this thing." And I put it down. I'm like, did they really do this for you? He's like, "Yeah, they did."
They did it.
and they mimed it for him.
Yeah, it's a. God, I wish I could show a picture. It's amazing.
Yeah,
like,
cool.
This thing is just absolutely amazing. And I'm like, only Phil could pull something like that off. Like, they can never sell it. They can never advertise it. Like,
right.
But it's sometimes you see stuff like that in this job. You're like, that's probably like a $25,000
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
wedge.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just a one-off little nugget.
Yeah, it was so cool. It was really cool.
And then what are you guys up to for the rest of the week? Are you spending the rest of the week at Waste Management?
Oh, we're as soon as we wrap here, we're back up to the tournament. We got
Very cool.
players to watch. We're gonna go and hang out on 16 Celebrity Pro-Am today.
Okay.
Pod goes live tomorrow, but Wednesday
Yep.
is the Wednesday, in my opinion, is the best day
This
to
is
be
the
at that
funnest
event.
day, especially after when all the trucks leave around 1 o'clock. You go out there because there's nothing to do. When I was at Callaway, once the trucks left, I would actually kind of stick around. I was gonna get a late flight and go out to 16 and hang out because the vibe's just crazy.
It is. It's
then
nuts.
we got the good grass clippings.
Grass clippings.
That's tonight.
Yep.
So I'll be.
Have you been out there before?
I've never been to this event. I've been to some good like they used to do those pop ups.
Yeah. Grass clipping is a lot of fun.
Yeah, I've heard. So I'm gonna go. We got inside the ropes for that. So I'm gonna be doing some stuff for
Nice.
golf.com social there tonight, and then tomorrow we're at Ping tomorrow,
Ping tomorrow.
and
Yep.
then
Talking Stick in the afternoon.
Where are you doing a ping tomorrow?
Jack and Johnny have.
well,
have
Jack's
not
getting
been
a
there.
fitting. I'm just going to hit stuff.
Got it.
Just to refamiliarize myself with
Very cool.
what the hell's going on.
It's a pretty cool setup what they've got there. Have you been in the vault before?
Oh, but yeah, I mean, when I was
Yeah.
at W, I've been to the.
Oh,
Ping,
so you've
I've
done
done
it,
the
yeah.
Ping thing a bunch. Yeah,
Done the thing, but Rocco's going to go with him.
yeah. I'm
Nice.
taking
So-
Rocco with me.
Rocco and Johnny are going to be out there proving grounds and hitting some shots.
There you
and
go.
Jack's going to go through the
You'll
go through
love
the fitting
440.
experience.
The 440 is incredible.
Rocco's got it. He said he loves it.
It's
At the back end of last year, like before I left Callaway, I was actually starting to work with a lot of non-staff, like some of the live guys. So like the Charlie Howell, Sam Horsfield, Abe Answer, Jimmy Walker is not a live guy, but so I actually got firsthand experience of seeing 440, QI35, like because they all had them, right? And you know, when I was doing it, like the Callaway stuff was pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
Like it was pretty awesome. But the 440, especially the LST, that's a great head.
Yes.
It's a great head for the player that doesn't want something super low spin. So if you're looking for like a mid-range,
It's a mid-low.
lower spinning head, it's a really cool head. So like I saw that, and you know the player that I was working with, I'm not gonna name who it was, but it was spinning a little bit too much. But I'm like, this is like right up my alley.
Mm-hmm.
Like that shape that still has a little bit of spin. It looks really cool. Their fairway woods look really cool this year. by the way.
fairways are
Fairway woods
really
are
good.
really
Drivers
good.
are really good. The blueprints they brought out last year are really
They're
good.
gorgeous irons.
Blueprint
yeah,
is
those are
solid.
gorgeous. They
The wedges look really good too. The new wedges look really
yeah,
good.
that's
They came out
159.
last year.
Really
Yeah.
good.
Do you know what they make? And I can say this now. Their hybrids are so amazing.
Yeah.
And I like last year I went on a hybrid hunt because I just wanted because I'm always looking for like at 48 I'm always looking for like a 4-iron replacement. Like I want something I can
Not going Freddie Couples yet?
Not yet, not there yet.
No 7 hybrid in the back?
no, but
All
like
right.
the 4 hybrid thing. You know, at this point in my life, like, you know, I could still hit a 4-iron fine, but like I want something I can hit hard. If I want to get out there 230, I can gas it. And if I want to hit it thin, I can get out there 205 or 210. And 4 hybrids like the way to go. So I tested a bunch of different hybrids last year. And then Kent Notes on the truck goes, let me make you one of ours. And I hit it and I was like, this is like the greatest golf club I've ever seen in my life. This thing
Ping
is-
hybrid for us at True Spec was, I mean, basically secret weapon.
It is unbelievable.
You can take
You can't say that because someone's already named their golf club the secret weapon. So
Yeah, you
You're
can
right.
do that. It's copyright.
It's not
Way to
much
go.
of a
Now I have
secret
to
anymore.
cancel the whole show.
Bob, don't come after us.
Yeah, so it was incognito. We'll call it.
Yeah.
It was the incognito.
PXG makes good hybrids.
PXG's
When I was at
hybrid-
WRX, their hybrids are always great.
So I was with PXG for 2 years. PXG's fairway woods and hybrids are the most underrated portion of their bags.
They do great.
make
Their irons are
incredible
great.
hybrids.
Their irons are great.
The irons are really really good, but
Right.
that's their flagship.
Right.
That's what that team has put their engineering behind and
Right.
all
Sugar
that
Daddy
kind of
wedges.
stuff. Sugar Daddy wedges, yeah,
Sugar
that
Daddy wedges
really
are
great
solid.
feeling wedge. Biggest issue I had while I was there was they went to 100% full face, and I can't stand full face.
That's fair.
Now they've gone away from it again, which is great, but I just can't stand full face wedges.
The funny thing with driver with them is when they first came out, they were really spinny. Like
Yep.
the
And
driver
DJ
was-
loved that driver.
yes, like they spun. But then in total Bob fashion, he overshot the mark, low spin. So he went from like a driver that kind of lived at 2,600, 2,700
Yeah.
to a driver that lived at like
11,
1,400,
yeah.
1,500.
That Black Ops, if you are a high launch,
My
high spin player,
God.
Black Ops is going to be your best friend.
It did not spin at all, but I've always admired their irons. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to try all this stuff. I can honestly say I know very little about a lot of the stuff. I know Strixon irons are always sneaking into bags.
Yep.
Obviously the Vokey thing.
So Strixon's one of the best sellers at TrueSpec.
All the fitters.
Right. What I'll say is this is I have had the Cobra 3Ds in my bag for...
How are those? They look sick.
So good.
They look so
they're
sick.
really good.
It is so dumb how good they are. They look like a blade. They feel like a forged club.
Right.
But they have the forgiveness of the biggest of big irons that you could ever think through.
So the Tie Fusions, the Callaway Tie Fusions, same drill.
Yep.
Like you set them down, and there's always that hubbub about the black and the coloring. They'll fix that eventually. But like the first time I hit those, I'm always averse to like those players' performance or distance because you get hot spots on them and they don't spin a lot. Like,
Sure.
Those Tie Fusions, like I'll toot the Callaway horn again. Like those things
It's a great iron.
they're incredible.
That's
Like
great iron.
last summer, I put Peyton and Eli in those irons. I put Jason Kidd in those irons. I put Hunter Nugent, who's a really good girl player, as one of our ambassadors in that iron. There was like 5 fittings and we tried everything. And immediately you put the Tie Fusion in their hands, and all of a sudden the ball's spinning. It's going out there a mile and getting through the turf. Like that's so I'm to your point, the 3D thing. I'm dying to hit those irons.
I know a guy,
Yeah, and he listens to the show.
Mike Yagley.
And he says,
shout out.
he says he's always like, you always say who's listening right now. He's always like, it's a me.
It's a me.
So
It's a
g'day, Mike. But if you're looking for like that 1%, 2% to make just that little bit of a better edge,
Right.
For me as an amateur that doesn't get to hit all the time, for someone that is just looking for more consistency than anything, the consistency metrics on these things are incredible.
I just want to have a good time.
That's what I'm saying. Like I'm having a great time with them.
See, I'm excited. The things that I'm most excited to hit: 440, Strixon irons, those Cobra irons. I'm gonna leave Callaway stuff out of this because I already know all the Callaway stuff. But Cleveland wedges, TaylorMade fairway woods because they've always made great fairway woods. The Cobra driver looks amazing. I'm really excited to hit that. And then the lab golf. I got to try the lab golf thing.
Yeah,
Gotta drink the Kool-Aid.
Yeah, lab.
I gotta try it.
Lab are interesting. The biggest issue that I have with lab is they're all center shafted.
That's my biggest issue. At first off, it was center shafted and it was hideous to look at. But
Yeah.
now they have that new Oz.
The new Oz is really good. So Sam sent us a couple so we could test them out, and we're gonna have to do a video on that pretty soon. But they've got a face in it now. Honestly, it feels just like a regular putter to me.
It looks great. I have it at. I picked mine up yesterday. I have it at Rocco's house, and I got home last night when we got back from dinner. And I brought him in, and Rocco's sitting on the couch. He's like, whoa, what's this thing? Because he's played with lap golf, and he put it down. He's like, oh, this is.
Did you
sick.
get yours with forward bending, or did you get it straight up?
I just sent him my specs, and the only thing I customized on it was where the lines are.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not a big. I don't like lines going forward because
Sure.
I think it's pointless. Because if you don't get it right every single time, I'm a perpendicular line, so I had him put a perpendicular line on the back just to line the face up. But other than that, like it's a beautiful putter.
Yep.
So Rocco saw it. So I'll correct what you said. You had a lab putter until Rocco just stole it.
Yeah, I got back to the house and I had because you saw what I was bringing. Like I had the Strixon irons and the TaylorMade woods and all this stuff, and I just brought it in there. And right when I walked in the house, I was starting to walk into the bedroom. He goes, whoa, come back over here.
Yep.
So he starts grip squeezing everything. He's got a cigar hanging out of his mouth. He's like, what's this, kid? What's this one, kid? Oh, this is pretty nice. You can see him getting on that. Who am I going to call tomorrow? I got to make a call tomorrow.
He doesn't have to call anybody. He's got yours. It's gone.
Yeah, he's gone. But I do like what Lab's doing. I love what Sam's doing. I think they're cool. The center shafted thing is the thing that's hard for me.
What he's doing is it's and I can say this now, it's disrupting a lot of.
It's gone against the grain.
There is a reason why everyone has a zero torque putter in their catalog now.
The Odyssey one is it's really good. Like it
square to square.
Yeah, it's good. Like but you have to commit to setting up a certain way though.
Yep.
Like that's the conceit. If you're okay with leaning your hands forward and really squaring up to it, it's a phenomenal putter. If you're like me, I don't want to be forced into a box. I just want to be able to set it down and hit it.
Yep.
Nobody puts Johnny in a corner.
Nobody puts baby in a corner. But there's a market for that. Like I think the center shafted zero torque thing this year for the putters.
You'll see a lot of it.
It's going to see, especially on tour. You're going to see a ton.
It's going to be interesting to see if Seymour gets a big bump from this as well, because they've been 95% of the way with zero torque for a very long time.
Those are great putters, by the way.
They're awesome.
Seymour putters are sick.
I seriously think we could turn this into a 2+ hour episode.
Probably.
We've got interviews to get to. We got players to see. We got trucks to visit.
Before we go though, hey Marky Mark, how's your basketball team going?
I missed the game last night for the Cobra party, and we lost by 30. I take full blame. No, we lost by 2.
Who's your basketball team?
I coach.
He coaches.
He's a coach.
Oh, you're a coach.
Yeah,
I thought he was going to say like the Lakers or something. I was like,
No.
oh.
No, he's Coach
No,
Mark.
He's Orlando Magic. He's an Orlando Magic guy.
That's a tough scene.
It's a tough scene.
It's a tough scene. It's like being a Mariners fan from Seattle.
So
the same thing.
you dumped your kids for a party?
It was for Johnny. Did it for Johnny.
Don't blame it on me.
It's a work obligation. I couldn't make the excuse to have to go coach, and
Got
I
it.
honestly thought we were going
Got
to
it.
kill them. We won by a lot the first time, and I got the text as I'm getting home from the Cobra party. Varsity
your
lost, and I think I'm worth at least 2 points, so I'll take the blame.
Well, on that note, we'll shut it down. And socials, what are they?
Socials.
Read them good.
On X at @fully_equipped. Instagram at @fully_equipped_golf. Check us out. Drop a comment. Anything that you've got for myself or Wade or the new addition, Mr. Wunder. Any tour news or any gear questions, feel free, drop us a comment. We'll get back to you. And if they decide they want to call the hotline and leave us a message, Wade, where are they calling?
555-555-555. No,
Not
it's
that
480-442-1168. 480-442-1168.
And with that, I think we wrap this episode, and we're gonna head back out to TPC and have a good old time.
And I'm going to go back to the office and do work. So
well,
you guys have a great
You do
time.
your work. Johnny and I are going to go live vicariously, and
God's work.
That's it.
That was
That's
a
it.
deep. That was deep.
That was good. It was fun.
We got deep today.
It's good.
Yeah.
I'm excited to be here with you boys.
So
Me
they've
too.
got to
Excited to have
check
you,
out
homie.
the fully equipped social channels, because we'll be posting some stuff from the Phoenix Open today, and yeah,
My
check us
biggest
out.
takeaway: you and I, we're gonna go emotionally. You and I are spiritually and emotionally. We're gonna go deep. I can see it in your eyes
100%.
right now. I can see it right now.
I don't hold anything back, man.
We're gonna do some. I can already tell. I'm doing deep life deep dives with Wave. It's gonna be. I already used my target.
It'll be a new podcast.
You guys are adorable.
D&M's with Johnny and Wade.
Yeah, just talking about stuff.
We'll get you some Cavassier and a candle. It'd be good to go.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, fellas, we'll see you next time.
Have a good one.
Let's
Peace.
ride.